So we're going to go to the next keynote speaker. Unfortunately, Her Excellency Lolwah bint Rashid Al-Khater. She's the Minister of State for International Cooperation of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Qatar. So unfortunately, she can't be here, but she did record an address because it's a very dear topic to her, about international cooperation. So we would like to show you her keynote speech on screen. Enjoy.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished colleagues, youth of today, leaders of tomorrow. It is a pleasure to join you today for this year's Middle East Mediterranean Summit. While I am unable to be there in person, I wanted to share this message to express my support towards this important initiative and the crucial conversations that will take place. I would also like to express my gratitude to the University of Lugano and Switzerland for organizing this timely forum, which brings together leaders, thinkers, and change makers to exchange ideas, build solutions, and reflect on the challenges that unite us across borders based on shared humanitarian principles. I also extend my heartfelt thanks to His Excellency, Federal Councillor Mr. Casas, Head of the Federal Department of Foreign Affairs, for his esteemed patronage of this important forum. I am honored to be able to talk to you today about core values that lie at the heart of Qatar's vision for the world: peace and dialogue. As youth, you are all the architects of the future. You inherit a world that is complex and fraught with division, but you also inherit a world brimming with opportunities for dialogue, for building bridges, and for striving toward peaceful solutions, which continues to remind us of the strength we find in unity and our collective commitment to a better world. The focus of this summit holds a particularly special place for Switzerland and Qatar alike. Our countries may be small in size, but we share a belief that dialogue and mediation are not just diplomatic tools. They are cornerstones for achieving sustainable peace. From Qatar's perspective, our approach to mediation goes beyond addressing immediate crises. It aims to inspire hope, build stability, and promote mutual understanding. Switzerland has been a global beacon for peace and neutrality for centuries, having successfully mediated in numerous conflicts and played a central role in global peace processes today. Over the past 3 decades, Qatar has aimed to position itself as a bridge builder in the Middle East and beyond, remaining devoted to dialogue as a reliable pathway to peace, following a foreign policy rooted in the values of our Constitution and the vision of our leadership. Qatar has actively mediated in some of the region's most challenging and complex conflicts. In Gaza, we have facilitated a ceasefire, delivered humanitarian aid, and helped evacuate vulnerable Gazans for medical treatment and safe passage. Our aim is not only to provide temporary relief, but also to give the people of Gaza a foundation for hope. Similarly, in Afghanistan, Qatar facilitated peace talks between the United States and Taliban and continues to support humanitarian efforts, prioritizing the stability and the dignity of the Afghan people. Qatar has also been active in mediating various crises, including in Ukraine and Russia, Venezuela, Darfur, Chad, Lebanon, Djibouti, and Eritrea. Each success has been the product of years of collective and sustained efforts. For every successful mediation, there has been multiple attempts that have fallen short, yet our commitment remains unwavering. Switzerland's approach to mediation, whether through promoting humanitarian dialogue or facilitating negotiations, aligns closely with our shared values of long-term commitment and resilience. In diplomacy, like Qatar, Switzerland believes in diplomacy and that it extends beyond agreements, focusing on building lasting peace and stability. Switzerland's legacy in shaping international humanitarian law is particularly notable, as it hosted the signing of the Geneva Conventions and the Geneva Protocol, which set global standards for humane conduct and enshrined protections for civilians, prisoners of war, and the wounded in conflict. This year marks the 75th anniversary of these conventions, the one set of rules we all agreed to. Yet today we face a disturbing reality, as we watch today's war unfold. These principles are being violated before our very eyes as we see protections afforded to civilians being disregarded. Switzerland's historic role as a neutral and reliable guardian of humanitarian ideals reminds us of the urgent need to uphold these standards, even in the most challenging of times. Yet, despite these frameworks, the situation in Gaza illustrates a devastating departure from these foundational set of rules. According to leading humanitarian or human rights groups like Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch, Beit Salim, Doctors Without Borders, and UN agencies, grave violations of international humanitarian law are widespread, with reports documenting indiscriminate attacks on civilians, children, and medical personnel, restricted access to medical aid, and the targeting of essential infrastructure. All of these agencies have sounded the alarm about an ongoing humanitarian catastrophe in Gaza, which stands in stark violations of the Geneva Convention's protections for non-combatants. In Gaza, the very principles championed by Switzerland are being severely tested, reminding the international community of the urgent need to uphold humanitarian law and ensure that the rights of Palestinians are protected and that this genocide has to stop immediately. Gaza faces one of the world's most severe humanitarian crises. Over 2 million people live under conditions that are completely unacceptable, especially for the youth who are eager for opportunities and yet are now consumed with survival. Aid alone cannot solve these issues. A political solution is absolutely necessary, one that addresses the root causes of the conflict and provides Palestinian youth with a state and the stability they deserve and need to shape a sustainable future. Similarly, Lebanon stands on the brink of a humanitarian crisis. Without prompt intervention from the international community to uphold international humanitarian law, Lebanon's youth may face a future similar to Gaza's. In Gaza and Lebanon, we have witnessed the extraordinary power of youth as they rise to remind the world of its duty to uphold international humanitarian values. Young people are not passive observers. They are fierce advocates for justice and human rights, using social media, protests, and advocacy campaigns to demand humanitarian protection and a just resolution. With fresh energy and bold ideas, they challenge the status quo, urging leaders to honor the principles enshrined in agreements like the Geneva Conventions, not as symbolic gestures, but as fundamental commitments to human dignity. Young voices like Ahmed Hijazi, Mu'taz Azaiza, Greta Thunberg, and many others have sparked global conversations, amplifying the voices of those suffering and pushing for accountability from those in power. They understand that peace and stability are not mere aspirations, but essential rights, and they are demanding a future where these values are lived realities. As they mobilize across borders, advocating for political solutions that address the roots of the conflict, they make it clear that their generation will not accept complacency or inaction. As I conclude, I want to end this address with a direct call to you all, young people. Each one of you has a role in the journey to peace. You are not only bearing witness to history, you are agents of change. Your voices, your ideas, and your vision will shape the future of peace and dialogue in the world. In a world where information spreads faster than ever, you have the tools to build an understanding, to foster empathy, and to stand up to what is right. In Qatar, we have learned that peace does not happen overnight. It is the result of dedication, compassion, and the courage to bring people together. We have seen how dialogue is possible, even in the most difficult of circumstances, and we believe that you can carry this torch forward as messengers of peace in your communities and on the global stage. The journey of peace is long, but it is a journey worth embarking upon. Together, with hope, determination, and the spirit of unity, we can create a world where dialogue triumphs over division, where peace replaces conflict, and where every individual, young and old, live in dignity and harmony. Thank you. May peace be with you all, and may you continue to be ambassadors of a better and more peaceful world.
Shukran jazilan, very encouraging words to forge a dialogue and actually confirming what we heard on the panel with all the distinguished ambassadors to the MENA region about, the great importance and pivotal role of Swiss diplomacy in today's complex world. I really thank you for all being here, for all the welcoming addresses, Rector of USI, to all the other distinguished speakers, to the keynote speech as well. We're very happy that we could spark off this summit for the first time on a Friday evening. So I would like to invite you to have a small toast just outside. You're all very welcome. Ahla wa sahla. And we hope of course, to see you all tomorrow morning for the second part of this MEM summit here in Lugano that is so important to really move on with the dialogue. So, grazie mille di essere stati qua con noi stasera. Shukran jazilan. Bashufkom bukra, inshallah. Thank you. Grazie.